You seem to understand. I'm not locked in here with you.
That's it! You're locked in here with me.
All right. Welcome in. It's a Sunday night live show with Radio Baloney Live. I am your host, Richie Baloney. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's had a good weekend. Had a nice one, chill one. It was very good. Looks like we already got Rumbum in the chat. Good to see ya. Let's see. Rumbum says he returns. I think that would be Trump. And epically picks up where he was. Only man to ever pause the real life Dark Souls game, grind out some levels, and then resume playing even stronger, showing all why he's the God Emperor. All right. And then something about the cook here. Let's see. Well, I guess I'll bring up the cook briefly. There we go. There's the cook. So hypnotic. So hypnotic. Hey, Rosie, good to see ya. All right. How was the concert, by the way, Rosie? That was crazy that you're it's crazy how dedicated you are to this channel, that you chatted from the concert. That is fantastic. But you can just go see a concert too, I won't be mad about it. All right, everybody, what are we doing tonight? Well, obviously we're going to talk about the Butler rally. I'm sure everybody's seen a bunch of clips from that. We'll spend a bit of time going over that. We are going to talk about general election stuff. We got some Tulsi here. We've got some more stuff on Hurricane Helene, which is crazy. We've got Karine Jean-Pierre here trying to gaslight everybody. Let's see, Rosie, Jeffrey Steele. That's right. That's who it was. And it was awesome. That's fantastic. All right. We got a little bit of Trudeau here, who's just a total moral monster, in my opinion. A bad person. I consider him to be an extremely bad person. Again, a moral monster. A moral monster. It's like maybe psychopath. Maybe we could say psychopath. I think we can say it. Let's see. Rumbum says, haha, bit of time. Famous last words before 2 hours flies by. I'm going to try and keep it to about 2 hours tonight, if I can. About 2 hours. I kind of got a bit of a headache. Not feeling that great. I'm going to try to, but I've said that. I keep saying that. Then we go like 4, 5, 6 hours. But I'm going to try and keep it to a couple hours tonight. I tried not to gather too much stuff to talk about, too much material. But we'll see how it goes. And I do have my zombie stories to watch later after the stream as well. So there's always that. Let's see. We got a story here. Analysts react to Biden's remarks about Harris literally trying to destroy her campaign. I just find it hilarious. Let's see what else we got here. Then all the stuff, just like kind of just random stuff. Some of it's political. Some of it's just like dogs that are hilarious. Some of it's like dogs that are doing like exercise classes with humans. There's like this guy who's just funny. There's like a dog and a cat that are best friends. All kinds of stuff. There's Gorlock the Destroyer. I guess not really at Gorlock's best there. Again, dogs. And then like Buffalo there. And then Nicole Shanahan. So, I mean, there's political stuff in here. There's lots of dog stuff in here. There's all kinds of stuff. There's like a coyote and like a badger that are best friends. Crazy. Who would have thunk it? Lots of stuff. We got some Vivek mixed in there too. We've got tons of stuff. Look, we got some dogs and then a baby. I mean, that's adorable. We've got this funny video, which has been around, I think, forever. But we're going to watch it again tonight because that's just what we do. And of course, if everybody needs a palate cleanser and a reset, of course we've got the cook. Of course we've got the cook. We don't just have the cook. We also have Sandwich Girl as well. Makes a hell of a sandwich. Extremely talented. All right. All right, before we get to it, what are you guys saying here? Let's see. Rosie says 2 hours. Let's start a bet. I find it's actually almost like physically impossible for me to do only 2 hours of a stream. And it's because I keep interacting with you guys, because you guys are basically part of the show now. Let's see. Even Hayden Biden shows himself to join Team Trump. I think that Biden, I mean, we'll get to this. I think that Biden is bitter. I think that face there is, I think he's bitter. He obviously, he's not confused about whether or not there was a palace coup and he was driven out against his will. He knows exactly what happened. He knows who put the knives in his back. And of course, the biggest knife in his back was from Kamala herself, his vice president. That was the biggest knife in his back. So is he bitter? Of course he is. He's not like Biden isn't like this kindly old man. Like he's a vicious, nasty, horrible person. Right? He is a truly awful human being. Nasty, mean, vicious human. And he's been in politics basically his entire adult life. So it's not like, it's not like he's going to turn over a new leaf or something. Like he hates her. You know that he hates her, right? And it must be so difficult to weigh because on one hand, for legal purposes, he really wants her to win because then she'll be able to pardon him for everything, basically. If Trump wins, he could be seeing some legal problems, right? It's entirely possible. But at the same time, you know that he hates her. He hates her with the same venom and vitriol and bile and spite that he hates Trump. So it's a tough one for him. And I think he's having a bit of a hard time controlling himself, frankly. Let's see. Rosie says, where is Muse number 3? Oh, she's right here. But she's not showing any culinary skills here. So I'm debating on taking her out from this tab and maybe putting her in a different tab and then getting another very talented female chef, cook of some kind. Because there's I kind of feel like it should be a theme, right? Like, look at that sandwich. That sandwich is great. You could love this video just for the sandwich. Personally, I didn't even notice there was a sandwich like the first 10 times I watched the video, but there is, and it's a great one. And of course, the cook. I mean, I don't know. What can you say? Where's Muse? So that's where Muse number 3 is. You may hurt her feelings. Well, I don't know. I mean, we have to have rules and boundaries, don't we? Rumbum says, oh, hell yeah, better. He has just enough brains left to know what they did. Oh, you're talking about Biden there. Yeah, he's bitter. He's extremely bitter. He knows what happened. And he's a hate-filled man. All right? So he's not taking this lightly. Like he's burning with hatred and spite inside of him right now. But also, it's handy to have somebody who can hand out a bunch of pardons. He may be needing some. Let's see. Rumbum says his October surprise for all will be endorsing Trump. Well, that ain't gonna happen, but wouldn't it be amazing if it did? Wouldn't you love it that would break the world. That would break the universe if that happened. then you know we're living in, the Matrix, or we're living in a simulation. Well, Rumbum is concerned now, and we'll get to the real news in a second, but we have to deal with this first. Rumbum is concerned that she might get taken off of the yay or nay tab from Sandwich Girl and the cook. But you have to remember, Rumbum, there's going to be another tab. She's not going away. She's not leaving. She won't be leaving forever. It'll just be a different tab. She won't be in the, yay or nay Muse tab. She'll just be in a different tab. So she'll still be around. She'll always be around. It's the internet. All right. Here we are. So, top moments from President Trump's return to Butler in under 5 minutes. So we'll go through this quickly. I really want to show you and I think just to play the entire clip, if you guys haven't seen it, the entire clip of Elon Musk, I think it's really worth it. I think it's really important. I don't think it's in this one here, but let's take a look. Top moments from President Trump's return to Butler in under 5 minutes. Star-Spangled Banner. At one point during the rally, a sudden medical emergency forced President Trump. Now, I couldn't watch this. I didn't have time to watch it. So I'm just looking at clips. A sudden medical emergency. At one point during the rally, a sudden medical emergency forced President Trump to halt his speech for several minutes. The unexpected interruption left the crowd in suspense, eagerly anticipating his return to the microphone. Well, let's take a look. So you get the picture. Very patriotic. Scott Presler's address. So Scott Presler is if you don't know who he is, he basically registers voters, and he'd had a thing he was doing, which I don't think he's doing now, but he would go to like rundown Democratic towns, like the worst areas, and clean up, bring in a crew and just clean it all up, right? And then try and register people to vote. So he's actually fairly important, and it's great that he's part of the actual Trump campaign now. He's actually working with them to register voters. This guy's extremely dedicated, and yeah, I think they've made some smart decisions this time around.
I wish I didn't wear shorts today. Mom and Dad, I honor you on the stage today, Captain Robert Presler and my mom, Carol Presler. Pennsylvania, you have the power to change the world. Pennsylvania wins the White House, and so please, I ask you today, please check your voter status, make sure you're an active voter registered at your current address, and please visit vote.pa.gov and register to vote today. A message to our union workers. We want your vote. We want to keep jobs here in America. To our beautiful Amish and Lancaster and across the state, we will protect your raw milk, your dairy, your farming, your school choice, your religious freedom, your ability to afford to have 10 beautiful children per family. To our hunters, 30% of you are not registered to vote. Please, our hunters, support the Second Amendment, register to vote. To our truckers that service us every single day, please request a mail-in ballot or vote early, lock in those votes. To our sorority sisters and our fraternity brothers, please, you have the power. If you're going to school here in Pennsylvania, register to vote legally and lawfully here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I feel this from the top of my head to the tip of my toes. I love our great country. President Trump took a bullet for us. Please use your ballot and have his back on Tuesday, November 5th, and deliver Pennsylvania for Donald J. Trump. Thank you.
So it was a great move getting him involved. Really, I think he could be really instrumental because, I mean, it's about getting people to actually vote. And he appears to be quite prodigiously successful at doing that. Rumbum says, but Trump and his supporters are evil, non-feeling, non-patriotic monsters. That's what the media says, and they never lie. Yeah, I mean, you have to understand for a lot of, and this is true of every Western country. A lot, I think really the majority of people who vote for, whether it's Labor in the UK or the Liberals or NDP in Canada or the Democrats in the United States, they're getting all their information from a ideologically dominated, a narrative dominated media. And it's actually, you actually have to look to find something that's not identical to, like, each channel, news channel, for instance. I mean, it's just identical, right? They're just giving identical news, identical narrative. It's not even news, right? It's just narrative at this point. So you actually, if you want to hear something that's not just this identical, as if it's all coming out of the same teleprompter, you've got to look for it. And there's a lot of people who have no idea what's going on, right? All those people who thought that, Biden was spry and healthy and on top of it and sharp as a tack, just like Joe Scarborough was telling them. Joe Scarborough was saying that Biden was better than ever just about a month before the debate. It took them to actually see him on the debate and his decline and how decrepit he'd become and demented that he'd become before they understood, because they had never seen it before, even though there's a million clips. They had never seen it because it wasn't shown to them, because they're not consuming news, they're consuming narrative. But yeah, to your point, I mean, that's the difference. I mean, just the average rank and file person who would say in Canada vote for Trudeau, who I think is a psychotic moral monster, right? Most of the people voting for him are not, they just don't know what they're doing, right? They've been consuming media that tells them, maybe he's made some mistakes, but it's always in that kind of like, geez, we really like him, and we're sure he'll do better. Oh, it's too bad, but still, I mean, we do like the Liberals. It's really the activists and the politicians themselves who I would consider to just be bad people. But on the left, they do think they think every Trump voter is evil, is bad. That's widely believed across the left. They've just consumed nothing but poison, right? And so they end up having poisonous opinions. Let's see. Rosie says Trugina. That's our name for Justin Trudeau on this channel, if you're not a subscriber. Trugina is a psychotic moral monster. It's true. It's true. Everybody remember that. All right. So there's Scott Pressel. Let's go to number 3 here. Oh, this is good. He just picks up where he left off. Right when he got shot. This is fantastic.
Lee, thank you very much, really. And thank you, a very big thank you to Pennsylvania. We love Pennsylvania. And as I was saying,
that's great. As I was saying, just as I got shot, it's pretty good. That's a good joke. I mean, again, and it kind of reinforces this kind of Teddy Roosevelt quality about him of just this physical courage and mental strength.
oh, I love that. I love that chart. I love that graph. Isn't it a beautiful thing? But also beautiful because look at the number. That's the day I left office. It was the lowest Border Patrol, the lowest it's ever been. Illegal immigration. Today it's out of control. But I love it for other reasons too. You know that. So thank you very much. And thank Lee and what Lee has done with that song. And it's such an honor to have it.
That was good. That was very good. I'm glad he thought of that. Hold on. Let's go back to that.
Pennsylvania. And as I was saying,
you can't see that, but he's pointing to the sign that he was looking at when he turned his head and he got shot. As I was saying. Huh. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Let's see. At the beginning of the rally, President Trump called for a moment of silence to honor firefighter Corey Compatore, who tragically died while shielding family members from gunfire during the previous rally in Butler. As the sun set over Butler, opera singer Christopher Macchio took to the stage to perform Eva Maria. So let's take a look. So that obviously would have been very powerful live, being there live. Let's see. Oh, yeah, here we go. Elon Musk's speech. So let's take a look. Is this the full one? I believe this is the full one here. Let's take a look at this. And we'll watch this whole thing because this is really, really worth it. Because Elon has, he's great at just getting to the point, right? Like part of the reason he's such a great engineer, such a great businessman, is because he can isolate the things that are really important and deal with them. And you see, that's what he's doing here.
Is the only reason we can now send American astronauts into space. Come here. Take over, Elon. Yes, take over.
Hi, everyone. As you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA. Well, first of all, I want to say what an honor it is to be here. And, the true test of someone's character is how they behave under fire. And we had one president who couldn't climb a flight of stairs, and another who was fist pumping after getting shot. Fight, fight, fight. Blood coming down the face. Now, America is the home of the brave. And there's no truer test than courage under fire. So who do you want representing America? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you just can't neglect the fact, right? He's gone back to the place where he was shot, where there was that iconic shot, that iconic picture, the iconic moment of him getting up, blood on his face, raising his fist up, fight, fight, fight. Absolutely iconic, and it is real gangster to go back there again, hold the rally there. I mean, I've said this before, but what percentage of politicians would you see out in public again? I mean, 99.9% of politicians, I think, would have been running a Biden basement campaign after the first rally in Butler and the assassination attempt. 99.9% of politicians would have just run the Biden basement campaign. You wouldn't have seen them out in public again. And you really couldn't blame them, right? then a second attempt. Nothing will stop this man. Courage under fire. I mean, genuine courage. I mean, bravery, right? Like, he's still out there. He goes back to Butler. Yeah, there's a ton of security there. They've got the bulletproof glass all around, right? They're not taking any chances. But my thoughts after the first one were, it looks like they're making it obvious what they're doing. To me, it looked like a statement. Because how could you have 6, 7, 8 catastrophic failures at one event and expect anybody to believe it was all just an accident, all just coincidence? I'm sorry, you can't. It's not like it's the first rally they've ever put on. It's not like it's the first rally they've ever had to supply security for. Like, there are protocols they have to follow. I mean, there's systems, right? This has been done. It's been perfected as much as you can. You know, just with a general chaos of, you know, lots of people and different locations. But it's not like they didn't have any idea what they were doing, right? They've done this over and over and over again. I mean, you can train people to do based on, you know, the trial and error of the past. You have to assume they're actually really good at this stuff. And then you see these incredible catastrophic failures, lots of them, stuff that should be a 1 in a 10,000 event, or 1 in 100,000 or 50,000 or something, some large amount of rallies where this should never happen. Maybe it would happen once in 10,000 rallies, and have like half a dozen of those all at once. It looked like it was intentional to me. It looked like it was sending a message. We can do anything. So at some point you got to wonder, am I safe at all? Because it almost seems to be like they're trying to tell everybody what they're doing, and then what they're actually doing, right? So to be out there at all, I don't care about the extra security. To be out there at all is still extremely brave. And you can see he doesn't seem worried. Trump doesn't seem worried. It is genuinely impressive. I mean, he's a new Teddy Roosevelt. But let's continue with Musk here.
And I think this election, I think it's the most important election of our lifetime. This is no ordinary election. The other side wants to take away your freedom of speech. They want to take away your right to bear arms. They want to take away your right to vote effectively. You've got 14 states now that don't require voter ID. California, where I used to live, is just passed a law banning voter ID for voting. I still can't believe that's real. So how are you supposed to have a proper election if there's no ID? It's just meaningless. And free speech is the bedrock of democracy. And if people don't know what's going on, if they don't know the truth, how can you make an informed vote? You must have free speech in order to have democracy. That's why it's the First Amendment. And the Second Amendment is there to ensure that we have the First Amendment. President Trump must win to preserve the Constitution. He must win to preserve democracy in America. Yes. This is a must-win situation. Must win. So I have one ask for everyone in the audience, everyone who watches this video, everyone in the live stream. This one request. It's very important. Register to vote. Okay, and get everyone you know and everyone you don't know, drag them to register to vote. There's only 2 days left to register to vote in Georgia and Arizona, 48 hours. Like, text people now, now. And then make sure they actually do vote. If they don't, this will be the last election. That's my prediction. Nothing's more important. Nothing's more important. So get everyone you know. Everyone. So speaking to people out there, everyone in the crowd, I think, is already convinced. But for people out there that are watching the video, watching the live stream, you need to get everyone you know, at work, your friends, family, text groups, your social media, everything. Get them to register to vote right now. Only 2 days left for Georgia and Arizona. Only a couple weeks left in Pennsylvania. And if they're not registered to vote, it doesn't matter at that point. Register to vote. I'm being repetitive for a reason, okay? So nothing is more important. And a lot of people think maybe their vote doesn't count. Well, it does, okay? It does. It matters. And this election could be decided by 1,000 votes, 500 votes. A tiny margin. So get everyone you know to register to vote. I believe that's swapthevote.com. I believe that's the site. And double check that your registration is good. Don't take it for granted. I'm just being repetitive about this point because it is the one takeaway more than anything that will matter is getting those registrations and then getting everyone you know to actually vote. That is what will decide this election, especially in Pennsylvania. So thank you, and honestly, you want to just be a pest, just be a pest to everyone you know, people on the street, everywhere. Vote, vote, vote. Fight, fight, fight. Vote, vote, vote. Thank you.
So this is why they hate Elon, obviously, right? This is why, right? Because he doesn't want the right things. What he's supposed to want, his concerns are supposed to be preserving his wealth and doing whatever he needs to do to please the powers that be, to preserve his wealth, to cooperate with them and do their bidding, to preserve his wealth, and then being invited to the right parties, right? That's what he's supposed to care about. He doesn't. They've known this for a while. As soon as he took over Twitter, he was an enemy of the establishment, an enemy of the regime. He was talking about free speech. You're not supposed to care about that. That's not part of the plan. Not supposed to care about that. You're supposed to say that you care about it. You're supposed to say, oh, I want to, it's so important that we preserve free speech. That's why we have to censor everything that dissents from the official line. But that's what they're actually telling us right across the West, every country in the West, right? That this is what we hear, right? You have to preserve freedom of speech by censoring, by banning everything that is unpopular to the ruling elite. That's what we're told. Elon Musk said in there, he said, if Harris wins, if Trump doesn't win, it's the last election. It doesn't mean that there'll be no more elections, but they'll just be show elections. They won't mean anything. Talks about California has banned voter ID across the state. Well, you can see, is that going to just stay in California? There's a reason why they want it banned in California, right? Anybody can see that. It's obvious. No, this just simply doesn't happen in normal countries. Or really, I mean, what? This doesn't happen in any country. It's so transparent what it's about. It so transparently destroys election integrity. But that's the point. Elon Musk says free speech must be protected. He says the Second Amendment must be protected because that's what keeps them from taking away the First Amendment, right? That's what keeps her from taking away your free speech. This stuff is all poison. Poison to the teleprompter readers. I mean, what the teleprompter readers actually think themselves doesn't actually matter. All that matters is that they read what comes out of their teleprompter, right? And they, just parrot the talking points that they're given. But the people above the teleprompter readers, this is poison to them. So that's why it's important. That's why I wanted to play the entire 6 minutes of it. This is important. I mean, look, Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they're not just gonna have books written about them now, right? They have books written about them now. Though they will be writing books about them in 100 years. Will they be writing books about Joe Biden or Kamala Harris? No, there'll be maybe a chapter in some book. Kamala Harris, maybe a footnote in some book, unless she gets elected and the many terrible things that Elon Musk is predicting happen. But these are iconic men, right? These are men of history. These are men of history. This is not like Adam Schiff or Chuck Schumer or Lindsey Graham, right? Yeah, I think this could be a speech that people study 100 years from now. I mean, we are really on that razor's edge right now. The United States is on that razor's edge right now. Elon Musk says, if this election is lost, it's the last election, meaning that no elections after this will matter because it'll be so corrupt. It doesn't matter. It won't be about who votes. It'll be about who counts the votes, right? Talking about California banning ID to vote across the state, that will become every state, right? They'll put another 4 or 6 justices in the Supreme Court, all of them activists, and that'll be it. Over. Game over. It's the same stuff that's in the works for everywhere else. Let's see. What are you guys saying in the chat here? Rumbum says, you tell him, Elon. Antipop, good to see ya. Let's see. Rumbum says, it's almost like the founding fathers knew what they were doing when they set up the system in the States. Yeah. Yep, exactly. Antipop says 200 million to 200 million 47. Rosie says elections will be as useful as the ones in Venezuela. Yeah. And by the way, that'll just be a return to the norm, right? Tyranny, dictatorships, meaningless elections will just be a return to the norm, right? The exception, this really quite brief period of liberal democracy that we experienced in the West, free markets, respect for free speech, all these sorts of things, all the things that we value, regardless of what kind of system, constitutional republic or whatever, parliamentary democracy, whatever, right? That's the exception, right? That's not normal. Like the more stable state is like Venezuela. That's actually the more stable state for people to be in. And I don't mean it's better. I mean, that's what, that is the path of least resistance for a civilization, for a society, is to move into that. You have to fight against that, and you have to protect against that, because it always wants to move that way. There's always going to be bad people who want to take power and want to consolidate power for themselves. Want to create centralized control of everything, right? There's always going to be dictators, right? So what everybody's got, right? I mean, we have, I think, less of it now, I got to be honest, but what we still have to some extent is the exception to the rule. It's not the rule. It's not normal, right? It has to be nurtured. It has to be fought for. People have to care. You have to care about your free speech. You have to care about your ability to speak your mind, even when it's unpopular. Let's see. Antipop says Civil War could determine more. Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? That's what you want to avoid. What everybody should want to avoid. Let's see. All right, let's move on. But you look, when talking about Elon again, when he says, again, this is a historic figure. He's not just a guy who's famous right now. This guy, there'll be books written about him in 100 years from now. He says this is going to be the last election. If you lose, this is going to be the last election based on what he's seeing around him and the attacks on actual democracy or constitutional republicanism, the attacks on free speech, the attacks on voting integrity. Again, he talked about California made voter ID illegal. There can only be one reason for that. When he says you're looking at the last election, if you lose, people should take that seriously. And that it's stuff like this is why they demonize him so much. In fact, I worry about his health as well. Elon Musk's health, because he is a major threat. All right, let's move on. Let's see. Okay, what else we got going on here? Incredible crowd today at the rally in Pennsylvania. Big crowd. Yep. That is a big crowd. I'm not surprised. It's obviously a historic moment. And let's see, we got Elon there. This is actually a better quality video than the one I just showed you. But anyway, whatever. We're not going to do it again. All right, let's move on. So let's take a look at this from Laura Loomer. Oh, I thought Kim Cheadle said snipers can't get on top of a sloped roof. I guess the former Secret Service director lied. Nobody's surprised, and we all know why they lied. Yeah, that was an obvious lie right from the start. There they are on that slope, the famous sloped roof. Famous sloped roof. It was not only sloped, slightly sloped, but it was also hot up there too. As I recall, that was another excuse they gave. It was also hot up there. Just one of those reasons. It's not just the catastrophic mistakes. It was the lies afterwards, the obvious lies afterwards, like slightly sloped roof and it was hot, that also added to my impression of it as obviously there was somebody on the inside here. This wasn't just a big accident. There they are now. Huh. I guess it wasn't too sloped after all. Isn't that amazing? Here's JD Vance at the rally. Let's take a look. JD Vance has turned out to be a pretty good pick, hasn't he? I didn't think it was all that exciting of a pick at first, but he's turned out to be a pretty decent pick. Let's take a look.
Just look at everything they've done to President Trump. First, they tried to silence him. When that didn't work, they tried to bankrupt him. When that didn't work, they tried to jail him. And with all the hatred they have spewed at President Trump, it was only a matter of time before somebody tried to kill him. And that's exactly what happened, not just here in Butler, Pennsylvania, but just a few weeks later in Florida. 3 weeks ago, while these guys still go out there and attacking him as a threat to democracy, another gunman armed with an AK-47 style rifle tried to finish the job. Just look at everything they've done to President Trump. First, they tried to silence him.
So I think he's turned out to be a pretty good pick. I mean, the debate, I thought that he obviously won that. I'm not sure how important a VP debate is, but if there was a winner, it was him. And again, this is not your usual election either, so maybe it mattered more than normally it would. I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing some new polling data tomorrow. Let's see. We'll be going into. I might start just sharing the Rasmussen stuff with you on the regular, because that's pretty interesting. Let's continue. All right, hold on one sec. All right. All right, we already saw that. All right, so let's move on. So we're 46 minutes in. And you know what? I think we might keep to our, around 2 hours, maybe 3 hours tonight. Then I can get to my zombie stories. Let's see. Trump from the Trump War Room. So here's Tulsi. Let's take a look. What is she saying here? Tulsi is really tearing it up. She's doing a great job. I showed a clip last stream, or when it was last Friday. Yeah, last Friday, I think. Yeah. Of her at the Rescue the Republic rally in D.C. And yeah, she's fantastic. I mean, she's a great speaker, really smart, a great addition to the team, to the Trump team.
Do you believe that the GOP is expanding its tent under President Trump?
Yes. The short answer is yes. When I joined the Democratic Party over 20 years ago, one of the reasons why I joined that party was because it was a big open tent party that stood up for free speech and civil liberties and welcomed people from different backgrounds. It was a party that stood for peace. You fast forward to where we are today. Now that party is no longer recognizable. And you have, under President Trump's leadership, what is now a big open tent party where people are welcomed in, not because we agree on every issue. We don't. We disagree on some issues and maybe some serious issues, but we are standing together around the most important ones that are essential to all of us as Americans. You heard President Trump talk about that yesterday. Elon Musk, it's what Bobby Kennedy and I are sharing with people across the country, that it is freedom. It is the well-being and interests of the American people, peace, prosperity, and security for all of us.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it ad nauseum on this channel, that really what it comes down to at this point, and why people like Elon, Tulsi, RFK Jr., but Weinstein says he's going to vote for Trump, right? Why these people are moving onto this big tent, as she says, is because it's really about sane versus fucking crazy. It's really what it comes down to now. Insane people can and do disagree with each other, because everybody does, but within the parameters, normal parameters of sanity, of what we would consider to be sane. Right? With the modern left now, with the activists, you have like a big blob of people who don't really know what the hell they're voting for. They're not paying attention. They just know either it's just habit, always voted for the right party, for one party, but it really comes down to, I think, fashion a lot of the time. They clip, they put on MSNBC occasionally. That's all the news they get. And Orange Man bad, everything bad, evil Trump supporters. They don't really know anything. They don't really care. They just do what they're told. But the activists, the people that are really running it, they're just crazy or evil or whatever. I mean, I hate to use the word evil. Just, maybe they're even well-intentioned, right? Maybe the people that are really passionate about sex changes for children, sterilizing and mutilating children, maybe there is some way that maybe in some way, some of them are well-intentioned. They actually think they're doing the right thing. But again, this is outside of like the normal parameters of what's sane, of what reasonable people will talk about and disagree over, right? Those people think that everybody who disagrees with them is evil. Everybody. And every Trump voter is evil. So you end up with really what are just, you end up with all of the sane people in the same place, or at least hopefully more of them than you had before. Like, the more people wake up and realize, say, if you've always been a Liberal Party voter in Canada, right? Trudeau has woken a lot of those people up to the fact that the party isn't liberal anymore. It's now an illiberal party. Right? They're now a far leftist progressive party. And judging by the fact that the Conservatives are up by, at least 20 points in the polls now over the Liberal Party in Canada. A lot of those people have woken up and said, okay, I'm not with that anymore. Now I'm going over here because that's where the sane people seem to be. And you seem to be seeing some of that in the state. I mean, again, Tulsi, Elon, RFK Jr., none of these people have been, conservatives ever. But they see that there's a place where they can speak to sane people, where there are sane ideas, and they can disagree. But the way that sane people disagree with each other, they don't automatically excommunicate each other, right? Sane people don't do that. They say, well, I don't agree with you on that, but I do agree with you on this. Maybe we can work on that together. The other stuff, we'll have to have, another talk on that. For the left now, for the modern illiberal left, and whether or not those people that aren't really paying attention or see themselves as far left or not, or authoritarian leftists, that is what they're supporting. That is what they're supporting. But on that side, MSNBC will tell you, if you're not for sex changes if you're not for sterilizing and mutilating children, you're a bad person. You're evil. Right? Yeah, it's pretty fucked up, isn't it? All right. Hold on. I think I ran out of steam on that one. All right.
Do you believe that the GOP?
All right. Hold on. I keep seeing an ad coming up to read, and then it just disappears again before I can click on it. Oh, well. We'll get there eventually. What else have we got going on? Here we have Walz defends signing a law to give taxpayer dollars to illegal immigrants to get free driver's licenses, free college, and free health care. So let's hear what he has to say. Let's hear the justification here. It's probably not really going to be anything coherent.
Wall Street Journal says this after you were chosen to join the ticket. As the Democratic governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz signed into law initiatives allowing immigrants in the country illegally to apply for driver's licenses, qualify for free tuition at state universities, and enroll in the state's free health care program for low-income residents. Are those not magnets to draw people here, many times on dangerous journeys for themselves? And why should your taxpayers in Minnesota or across the states pay for those programs?
Well, that's not the vice president's position, but I will say this. Minnesota ranks as a top 5 business state. We rank as a top 3 state for children living, and we're the top state for healthcare access. I would also add this. We also have some of the safest roads. Look.
Wall Street Journal says this after you were.
We also have some of the safest roads. Well, you didn't answer the question exactly, but the cat's out of the bag anyway, right? Look, everybody knows. You left the border wide open. You didn't just do that. You incentivized people to go across the border. You sued Texas to prevent them from putting up border barriers, razor wire, to stop people from coming across. The Biden administration sued Texas to prevent people. I mean, it's unbelievable, right? It's hard to believe. And a lot of people that are going to be voting for him and Kamala don't even know this. The Biden-Harris administration sued Texas to prevent them from stopping people crossing the border. They flew people in. They've got an app with like 5 minutes you can get accepted to go into the United States illegally. Like, it's weird. Like, it's legal, but it's illegal, but they're trying to make it so that it's kind of legal. It's truly bizarre. They've done everything to facilitate a mass invasion of their own country. Everything. The cat's out of the bag. The cat's out of the bag. You can't justify it. What is he talking about? They got some of the best roads. Really? That's the best you could do, Tim Walz. I mean, it's defending the indefensible, right? It's pretending that the thing that they're obviously doing and continue to do, it's pretending that they're not doing it. Pretending they're not doing the thing they're doing in front of everybody openly. truly weird. And again, it's not just letting people across, it's incentivizing it. It's not just suing Texas to stop them from preventing people crossing. It's incentivizing. It's, hey, we'll give you money. We'll give you housing. We'll fly you here. I mean, it's all out in the open. Completely out. The tragedy is that there are millions of people, and they get their they don't know anything that they haven't seen. They don't know anything that doesn't come off a teleprompter on CNN or MSNBC, who have no idea. They think that Biden and Harris have been working hard to secure that border. What about that bipartisan bill after 3.5 years of them allowing millions of people a year to cross the border? What about that? Weren't they trying to fix it there? How could anybody be so naive as to think that after 3 years of just open border, not just open, telling people to cross, facilitating it, bribing people to cross, incentivizing it. Here, we'll give you money, we'll give you housing, we'll give you a phone, we'll give you all this stuff. How could anybody be so naive as to think that now they want to solve it? Well, here's the thing. From their perspective, nothing needed solving. It was going perfect. It was going perfectly. It was going better than they could have possibly imagined. They didn't fail at the border. They succeeded beyond their wildest dreams. Because their wildest dreams were to flood the United States with millions of people that they could then naturalize and get voting as soon as possible. As well as, bringing down like labor costs, driving up property costs, finding various ways to transfer wealth from like the working class up, the working class and the middle class upwards. No, they succeeded beyond their wildest dreams. It wasn't a failure for them. And by the way, that border bill would have just codified it, just made it permanent. All right. That's some crazy shit, right? Some crazy shit. I'm so close to being able to do an ad. I'm so close. We're not there yet, though. All right, what do we got next? What are you guys talking about in the chat? Let's take a little boo at what's going on in the chat. Let's see. Let's see. Nevada said, has Nevada gotten a welcome in? Welcome to the chat, Nevada. Tulsi is what we call a moderate Democrat. There used to be a fair amount of them, but now they're pretty much extinct. Yeah, she's an old school Democrat is what she is. She's like an old school liberal. And there's no place for that in an illiberal party. Right? Like liberals used to care about things like free speech. It used to really matter to them because of the whole liberal thing, right? What it used to mean. The word has been redefined now to be meaningless. But, the old school traditional liberal who had no trouble coexisting with like a moderate conservative or any other centrist. No problem whatsoever. There's a reason why she can't exist in the Democratic Party anymore. Because they ain't liberals. They're illiberal. They are far left authoritarians now. And just because a bunch of people going to vote don't realize that that's what they're voting for because they don't know anything and they don't pay attention doesn't change the fact that that movement, just as it is in Canada, just as it is in the UK, is not liberal. It's far left authoritarianism. Nevada says, I just hit that like button. Well, thank you very much. This is probably a great time to suggest that everybody hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, you can go ahead and subscribe right now. Oh, wait. I mean, I am not going to continue until you subscribe to the fucking channel right now. Actually, I'll keep going. Let's see. Yeah, so hit the like button, too. It's great. Let's see. Rosie says, we kill babies, but the roads are safe. I think I got another clip here too of being questioned about the fact that the laws that he has passed there have made there are no longer any restrictions on abortion in Minnesota now. So it's like Canada now. Canada, no restrictions, right up until the moment of birth. So yeah, 20 doesn't really like to talk about. Well, if they're so proud of it, why don't they just proudly say it? Like, why doesn't Jim Walz say just proudly say, "Oh yeah, look, right up until the moment of birth, yep, dead, no problem." I mean, this is like, it's like a moral mission for them, right? It's like a religious thing for them, right? Like, it's like a fundamental part of their fundamentalist Marxist religion. Why won't they just be honest about it? Why aren't they proud of telling you the actual details? Because they're not shy about actually enacting the policies, but then they lie about it, or they obfuscate, or they refuse to tell you what they're actually doing. It's a weird thing. Because in their cult, abortion is a virtue. Like, they see it as actually a good, not just a necessary thing, but as a good thing, as a virtuous thing to do. It's like some sort of like Malthusian cult right or something. All right. I think we'll probably cut off YouTube at this point because I don't think Rosie wants us to. But, because of the censorship on YouTube, every live stream is a risk to the channel. I've experienced some censorship lately on YouTube. So we typically just do an hour and a half, something like that on YouTube, and then we cut it off and we continue going on Rumble. So if you're watching on YouTube right now, I appreciate you. Thank you very much for watching, but we're going to take it over to Rumble. We're going to continue on Rumble. It's a very nice over here, by the way. The water is great. You're going to love everybody. Everybody's very friendly. So I suggest you do that. Otherwise, we'll see you on Tuesday for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, something like that. YouTube, goodbye. Feels so much better.